Now, what it's all about is cryptozoology. Now, I don't know whether you know anything about cryptozoology, but what it is, it's the study and search for unknown animals. Now, this isn't rare animals. This is unknown animals. Animals that people don't know exist. Animals that science doesn't even accept that exist. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, this is what cryptozoology is. Now, we might think that, we know all of the animals that are on this planet. It just isn't so. There are many animals still on this planet that we don't know about. Now, I'll give you a few examples, all right? There was a creature called, the natives in Africa spoke about a creature called the short-necked giraffe. Now, scientists thought this was a load of rubbish, just a lot of native chatter. That is until they caught one. And now, we know it as the okapi. Have you ever heard of the animal called the okapi? It's got these black and white red rings around its neck. You can see them in zoos today. But they didn't think that thing ever existed. Now there's another one, it was called the, what was it? Oh yeah, the peccary. Now the peccary, they thought, had become extinct millions of years ago. And they actually found a whole lot of these peccaries running around outside a village in Mexico. That's where we're getting the swine flu from now. But this is, they found these peccaries. The people that lived there thought they were just, well, nothing important. Scientists thought they were dead long ago, millions of years ago. Now there was another one that's a little bit closer to home, was the coelacanth. Now I don't know if you know anything about the coelacanth, but the coelacanth is a fish that they thought was extinct millions of years ago. It's in textbooks. Well, it went out of existence millions of years ago. That is until they caught one in 1947. And now they know off the coast of Africa there's a place where you can go and you can get all kinds of these things. They're right down deep in the water, but they're there. So there was another animal. There's also, now I don't know if you've ever heard of this, the Viking legend of the Kraken. Have you ever heard that? Mm-hmm. Now the Kraken was supposed to be just a myth, something that just didn't exist, a Viking story, a creature that could actually overturn ships. They've actually caught a few, or they found a few. There was one that ran aground in Newfoundland in Canada. There was another one that was caught 80 miles off Christchurch in New Zealand by a factory ship. He says the captain of the ship said, "I've never seen anything like it in my life." And they took it back to the end of the ship and dumped it off the back of the ship. But the biggest one that was ever seen was by a person called J.D. Starkey, and he was on a government ship. And he used to be on the night shift. And when he was on night watch on this ship, he had this like a chandelier thing that he'd made up. And he literally had made it out of wooden pieces of wood, you see. And he had these electric light bulbs on it. And he lowered it over the side of the ship, kept it about so high off the water, and then he went back later on and he started to do a bit of fishing at night to pass the time, see. So this particular night, he went over to throw his line in the water. He looks down, and there's a huge green orb in the water, see? And he realized he was looking face to face at a giant squid. This is the Kraken. And he took his quartermaster's torch, shining it in the water. He walked along the side of the ship, see, shining his light into the water. He said the tentacles on this creature were as big around as a man's body. And he realized that he'd walked the whole length of the ship. This creature was over 175 feet in length. Now that's a recorded incident of a person. Now do you remember a guy called Steve Irwin? He tragically died. He got killed by a stingray. Now I was amazed when I heard this. He had a program on, it was dealing with kangaroos that climb trees. I don't know whether anybody's seen or saw this. And I thought, kangaroo that climbs a tree, I can't believe this. And it actually is true. He showed, I don't know where, I think it was in Papua New Guinea, wasn't it? I'm not too sure where it was. But what I'm trying to say is there are animals on this planet we just don't know exist, and it's a lot of things that we're learning now off the TV are quite amazing, you know, some of these creatures. Now, what else? Well, why do we go down on this trip? Well, it all started actually over 12 years ago. What happened 12 years ago triggered our trip. And it happened outside of a place called Nueva Tacna in Peru. It would have been about 6 o'clock in the morning, and there was only a handful of people who were up and starting to move around the village. They do fishing and agriculture there. And they thought an earthquake was taking place. The ground was shaking, trees were falling over. And what I'm going to tell you now, I know you'll find hard to believe, but when we're finished, hopefully you'll be convinced. A giant snake came out of the jungle. A black boa, as they call it in the Amazon. Now, if you see that map there, that map is 2 meters wide. And that's how wide that snake was. 2 meters wide. And 40 meters long, that's 130 feet. Now, are you putting those pictures up? There's the damage that it actually did. It was lying underground for many years, according to the locals now. And when it comes up, you know how you get up in the morning, you stretch, right, you get your muscles moving? That's what it was doing there, was stretching its muscles. It literally knocked over all these trees and all over the place. And these aren't small little bushes, these are real thick trees. Knocked them all over. And it headed down the river to go into the river, you see. Now, let me see this here. Now this is the trail, what these things do. They're so heavy. Look, you see that there? It made a trail down through the path. That's actually cut a path through the jungle. It's that heavy. Now go on to the one on the at the river, will you? It flung trees out into the Amazon. There's the trees that it flung out in the Amazon, shaking around like this, you see, and flung them right out into the river. Now, is that the last one of those?
No, there's more.
Okay, go on, do another one then. Let's see. No, yeah. Oh, yeah. They called in the Navy and the Army. Who is that guy, Greg?
General Vargas, the general of the Peruvian Armed Forces, on the right.
You know, they're worried about their people. They don't want to scare people. As a matter of fact, it's a point, you know, I honestly feel that the governments play down incidents like this because they want tourism, you see. This would scare people, you see. But anyway, they brought these guys in to kill it, but by the time they got there, this thing was long gone anyway. Have you got another picture there or what? Right. Now I knew, you see, a reptile has what's called explosive energy. It can really be strong, but only for a short time. Something like a crocodile or a snake can only be strong for a short period of time. And I knew that this creature would go downriver because they go with the flow. They don't want to go upriver. It's too much work, right? So it was going down the river. Not only that, it was going down to a confluence. The Napo and the Amazon confluence. That's where 2 rivers join together. And the reason they go there and inhabit those areas is because they get food. If they don't get food from one river, they get it from the other one, see? So that's the whole idea.